Hello gorgeous. Thank you for tuning into this final video of this project of me attempting to make a vinyl raincoat out of a clear tablecloth, a cheap tablecloth. So I was able to construct this raincoat, but I wanted to add some things that I learned along the way and hopefully will help you if you try to attempt this project or ever want to work with vinyl in the future. So a couple of things. Number one, I would say not to do buttonholes.
So here I am just doing a basic buttonhole to fit the 1 inch and 1/8 button. As you can see, I'm being very gentle, just lightly touching the fabric. This was like the 10th buttonhole I did. The first two, they ripped. And yeah, I would say you could do it just for looks and then do snaps underneath, but I would not recommend doing buttonholes on vinyl. If you have any tips, let me know in the comments, but I tried this for quite a while and I think I wouldn't do this for the next vinyl coat because it is just not practical.
Especially with this thin, I don't even know what gauge this is, but usually for like a coat you want to use like 12 to 16 gauge of vinyl, what I learned this week. As you can see right here, the buttonhole broke just when I was trying to put this on, and look at the buttons are popping off.
So here's another view of me making the buttonholes. Oh yeah, it looks so easy. Not. And then I tried to even go back to the one that I messed up. And then look, I'm trying to hand sew it, making more holes in it, making it worse. Me trying to be polite and not swear in the video, but if you could feel the energy, yeah, I was just done with it by this time. Look, again, trying to go over it, creating more holes, making it worse. So the final lesson with these darn buttonholes.
Because every time you do make a hole, that's another one. Every time you make a hole with your needle, it stays, just like working with leather. So you're kind of, it's kind of set in stone, that hole. It's not gonna close back up. So yeah, I would say you could sew buttons as decorative, and then maybe put snaps underneath.
So here is the coat finished with the functioning buttonholes with the buttons attached. Oh, I was so naive. I thought, oh, it looks great on the dress form. It's gonna work out great. But that didn't work out. But I wanted to show you how beautiful these buttons look with this vinyl. I think it's stunning, and I think it's possible to use them as decorative and just use snaps underneath.
That seems to be the most durable, because looking at this, the grommets here, they're not going anywhere. So my next coat, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put snaps. I still like the look of these buttons here, but yeah, don't do the buttonholes. Unless some magical seamstress out there has a tip, let me know in the comments. When you are ironing this fabric or vinyl, you do not want to put your iron directly onto the material. So put on your lowest setting, or you can even just press it with your hands with just like a muslin or just some cotton material on top and press it. So what I did, I put on my lowest setting on my iron, no steam because that will mess it up. Thankfully I tested on a swatch piece of fabric.
So here we have the pocket for the vinyl raincoat. So what I did was just a 1/4 inch stitch from the side, and then I'm pressing it on the inside toward itself, and so you can easily use your hands to press it if you don't want to use an iron. So here I am taking a pressing cloth and I have my iron set to the lowest setting, and I just gently, not even full weight on the material, gently just kind of swipe or press it a little bit. And as you can see, since it is a thin gauge vinyl, it takes the heat very quickly. So that's why I say to be very careful and definitely test it out on a sample piece of fabric before you use your fashion fabric with anything. And then I'm just pressing the top of the pocket, and there you have it.
So when you're doing the seams, I definitely recommend doing a French seam. And then you want to do the top stitching like this. Another thing with stitching is you want to use, what I used was a denim, or leather would be best. I used a denim, that's what I had on hand. So a denim 100/16 needle. That was the best option I had on hand. So that's what I used, and I, like with working with leather, I use those recommendations that I saw online. So the stitching, I set it to like a 3 or 4. Anything smaller than that, you're creating more holes. And like I said with the button before, the more holes you make, they're gonna stay there. And especially when you're constructing a seam, it is going to give it more of a chance to separate and not be as durable. So as you can see, this is like the seams I did a 3, and then the top stitching for the French seam I did a 4.
So here is another behind the seams of me sewing the vinyl raincoat. If only we can sew this fast. Oh, and oops, the coat tried to attack my camera. And here I'm innocently sewing the buttons, not knowing later they're gonna fall off.
It's definitely not quiet. You can definitely hear me walking down the street. But this was really fun doing this project, and thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, I'm always game for that. Like, hey, there's other seamstresses out there, they know other things than me. I'm not a know-it-all, so I would love for you to let me know any suggestions for next time, because I definitely want to make something that is definitely more durable than this. This is definitely just something that's probably just gonna sit in a garment bag and be just like maybe just an art piece in my closet. So thank you so much, and